Welcome to the Blerdsnerds podcast.
Everyone, and welcome to the Blerdsnerds podcast. I'm Shannon.
I'm Jaja.
And we're back bringing you another week of everything that's happening in nerd culture. It's just us two today. James is out of town like he usually is,
Shout out to James.
Living his life. So it's just us. But it's fine because we have a packed rundown. A lot of stuff happened this past week. Don't know how we're gonna fit it all in, but we're gonna try. Jaja, how have you been? What are some nerdy things
bad.
you've been to? Mm-hmm.
I'm a little tired from being a super nerd this week, trying to keep up with all the stuff that happened.
Yeah.
And just a side note, I started Bleach. I'm trying to keep up with Bleach, but I did get sidetracked by all the video game news. So, because I want to watch the new Bleach, but I think I should watch the old Bleach first. So I'm doing that. And I tried to watch all the showcases that came out this week. I got through a few of them. We'll talk about them in the video game segment, and I saw The Flash. And that is my nerd. I chose Flash over Transformers. I'm gonna watch Transformers. We'll get to that. So, but yeah, that was my nerdy week.
I can't wait to hear your thoughts on The Flash, Jaja.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, because I know that I said that it was fire in the group chat, but I really just said that to make sure you guys watched it.
It worked.
But we'll get to it. We'll get to it. I have been not as much of a nerd as you, so I didn't watch the Xbox Game Showcase, but I skimmed the announcements over the week as they were popping up, and then all these other showcases that I didn't know about, that I only know about because Jaja put them in the rundown or in our group chat. I was like, this is a lot, so I tried to skim stuff from those. So we'll talk about those briefly. But yeah, there's like a lot of video game announcements out from different companies, and it's a lot to keep up with, as you said. So I watched some of it, and then I also watched The Flash. I saw it on Thursday, and then I have been playing Zelda still, and I'm almost done with Zelda, so should be wrapping that up real soon. So that was my nerdy week.
That sounds good. You think you're gonna hop straight into the next Zelda when you've done the first one?
I might need a break. I might need a little bit of break, because from the gameplay that I've seen from Tears of the Kingdom, it looks, besides the fact that you can build stuff now, and I know that there's like the map looks the same. I know there's some additional areas, but I don't know. I just don't want to get burnt. I feel like if I went straight into it, I might get a little burnt out, because I've just been playing Zelda for the last couple months straight. So I think I'm gonna give it couple weeks. I'm gonna take off, maybe play something else, and then jump into that. First, I have to try to even see if I can get it to run on my Steam Deck. So I gotta see. So that's a whole other thing. So
yeah. I feel like you should be able to. Where there's a will, there's a way. I'm sure somebody got to run it.
Run smoothly, because I know that you can get it on there now, but I don't know if all the kinks are worked out for it to run.
It's gonna depend if you want those, how many frames you want.
Yeah. But we'll see. So let's get into it then. It's been a packed week. Jaja was looking forward to the Xbox Game Showcase, and that happened this past week. Jaja,
Wait,
first
before we jump into video game news, real quick anime topic.
Okay.
In the light of Father's Day, there's an age-old question. I don't know if we talked about it on the pod, but is Goku a bad dad?
Oh, that's a good topic, and it is Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. And Goku is a bad dad.
I disagree. We got to have this argument. I don't know if we have time to have it today, but
that's a perfect topic for today. Real quick, give a quick minute overview of why you think he is a good dad.
To Gohan, he was a good dad. To Goten, maybe not so much.
No, not at all.
Because he didn't even know Goten existed till he was 6 or 7 years old. And it's no matter what you were doing, couldn't you have hit up Chi-Chi and you would have found out.
Well, wasn't he dead? He was dead though for all that time.
He's contacted them from death before.
Yeah, but if he didn't know, I mean, I get whatever. But continue. I see what you're saying.
7 years without talking to him. Anyway, But to Gohan, no, I think he was a very good dad to Gohan and was literally looking at him as the 2.0 of himself.
Yeah, but I feel like he was trying too hard to make him a Saiyan warrior. Like, I don't know.
Like just
At what
by
point?
beating him down in training, beating
Yes,
him half to death.
yes. At what point does it become child endangerment?
But I mean, you gotta realize they're Saiyans. You know what I mean? They thrive off that, and like they get stronger when they're beaten half to death. So, in their culture, that is not being a bad dad. You're actually making your kid super strong.
I don't know. I think he's a bad dad because he cared more about his own power, I feel, than he did about his children.
Oh, this
That's
is
my
a
opinion.
juicy topic.
I
We gotta get James' take on this.
know. I feel like James would agree with me. I don't know. We'll see.
All right, we don't have to dwell on it too much.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna text him real quick and just I'm gonna see if he says yes or no.
But yeah, Goten, he wasn't there for it at all. But
No. Well, but to his defense, he was dead. And he only found out about him because he was I forgot how he came back. Was he resurrected to come back for the I forgot. Like the thought escapes me.
I forget the details. I think he left after Cell, right? He died when he took Cell somewhere or something. I
I
forget
don't
the
know. It
details.
was one of the many times that he died. Okay, I text him. Let's see if he let's see if he's
Uncle
up.
Piccolo over there. You gonna say Uncle Piccolo was a good dad?
Oh, yes, he was a better dad. He was a
By
better
leaving
dad.
homie in the jungle when he's like 5 years old by himself.
Okay, but are you forgetting when Gohan was fighting? Was it Cell that he was fighting? And
Yeah, he was fighting
he
Cell.
gave Cell a senzu bean to recover strength.
And
How was that
Piccolo was
not?
sitting there arguing with Goku, saying, "You don't care about your son." Yeah, I remember that.
Exactly. Exhibit 1.
I still don't think he was being a bad dad in that situation.
He gave the enemy a bean to recover his strength.
Think of it like this: if you had, let's say, your son or daughter, son was the best 3-point shooter ever, and he had the chance to play Steph Curry on one, and you could either play an injured Steph Curry or a full strength Steph Curry.
That's
Which
not
one
the
would you
same.
want your son to face?
Because
You
then
would
what
have
if he
faced the full strength Steph Curry.
because then
So yeah,
what if in his
shots?
What if in his full strength he killed him? Then he's a bad father, right? Because his son died because he killed him.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
it's the same either way. He's a bad dad. He's a bad dad.
But I mean, in this world, you can resurrect people, and Gohan never died, so he still had a good resurrection up in there. So
wait, I gotta answer.
The end of the world.
I gotta answer from James. Let's read James's answer.
Say?
Goku. James says, "I'm very disappointed in him. Goku is a great father who believes in his sons and pushes them to achieve their full potential."
Yes, that's what I'm talking about, James.
I'm gonna say I'm disappointed in you.
Oh man, what a good question. We got to start looking at anime dads in general now and rating how good they are.
Well, I don't think anyone is as bad of a father as Goku. He is at the top.
I disagree. I think he was one of the best fathers out there.
I don't know. The best fathers. Okay, we're gonna leave it. I'm gonna put this on TikTok. We're gonna leave it up to the TikTok viewers.
He's fighting to protect the whole world, including his son. That's what drives him to fight, to protect. Besides his thirst to get stronger, he wants to protect the Earth. Like that's his baby. He's the father to everybody there. Like Goku's the GOAT.
Okay. I'm gonna let the TikTokers answer this. Let us know on this Father's Day. I'm gonna edit this and get it out today. Is Goku a bad father? Yes or no? Or do you think he's a good father? We'll see. All right. Let's get into the game, the video game news. Jaja, what were your overall thoughts about the Xbox showcase? I know that you were you had a lot of patience and thought writing on this because Xbox needed to show some good games to really get back on top. So overall, as the showcase in general, before we dive into more specific stuff, how did you feel about it?
So since the dry streak that we've been having with just video games announcements in general, it was refreshing. Thankfully, it was the first showcase of the week for me. I watched it in its entirety. I also watched the Xbox extended showcase that came out the next week. Um, and overall, I was pleased,
Mhm.
being that we haven't had any news at all. But was I super pumped? Did I see anything mind blowing? Did I see anything groundbreaking, ground shattering? No,
Not even Starfield?
no.
Starfield trailer looks pretty good to me. I don't know.
Starfield, don't get me wrong. Starfield is going to be a great game. I'm going to play it. Absolutely. But like, we've I've seen Xbox before do this strategy. It looks like Elder Scrolls with a space skin over it.
Mm,
And
okay.
we did this. When the 360 came out, it was Oblivion. When the Xbox came out, it was Morrowind. I've been playing Elder Scrolls for a very long time, and I can tell an Elder Scrolls game skin when I see one. And yeah, I'm still gonna play it. It's still gonna be amazing because that type of game is my thing. But
Mm.
yeah,
What about okay. I mean, it looks good. I mean, if
and
even if it is even if it is over an Elder Scrolls, even if you think it is very Elder Scroll-ish, I mean, people love that game, so who can
right.
be mad, really?
So I'm
Yeah.
not mad at it, and then I'm gonna turn around and say, "Oh, I'm super hyped for Avowed," and that looks like an Elder Scrolls game. So I'm like the same. I have the same level of hype for Starfield and Avowed, kind of because they look like Elder Scrolls to me. I can't be like, "Oh, this is gonna be the craziest game ever." It's just, it feels like a sequel almost to
Mm,
me. And then I'm gonna be that guy. I'm gonna be super petty. Everybody's comparing it to No Man's Sky, and when No Man's Sky was missing was the story. So okay, we're getting a story now in Starfield and a whole bunch of other stuff. But there's one thing in No Man's Sky that I did not see them do in Starfield that I'm gonna be super disappointed about. It could be very small to other people, but if I can't get in my spaceship, take off from this planet, drive straight into space, and land on another planet, no loading screen, I'm gonna be very, very upset.
okay.
Because they showed off the traveling mechanic and it looked a little bit like, oh, I'm choosing a planet where to go. Yeah, you get to fly around space, but when it comes to actual landing, oh, you got to choose where to land. And then there's like a cinematic that plays. I am going to be very disappointed.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
It's something very petty, very, very petty. But that feeling in No Man's Sky of just hopping in your spaceship, literally blasting off into space and turning around and just seeing this giant planet that you're flying away from, it's absolutely amazing.
Did we get a release date for Starfield?
I believe so. I want to say October.
Of this year? Oh, wow.
Yeah, it should be. Yes, it's definitely coming out before holiday season.
Okay. Well, that's good.
So
Is it
it's gonna
coming to
be
Game
one of
Pass on day
those.
one? Probably not, right? No, it's not.
Every single game at this showcase is gonna be on Game Pass day one. That was one of the best things.
Oh, is it?
I did not
Wow.
see one game that did not have Game Pass attached to it. After every trailer, day one on Game Pass. They made sure to say that after every single trailer.
Hmm. That's good. That's the one good I mean, there are other good things about Xbox, but that's cool.
Yes.
That is cool.
It's definitely made it worth me holding on to my Game Pass subscription for the next year at
Yeah.
least.
I gotta get Game Pass on my Steam Deck. I gotta work on that.
Before you do it, let me know because there I just found out a Game Pass hack that you could get like a huge, huge discount on Game Pass.
Oh, really? A
Yeah,
hack?
it's
Okay. Well,
it's I
we can't
mean,
talk about it here.
I feel like they don't care if people do it, but I don't know if I want to blow it up. It's
Don't
on
blow it
like
up.
Reddit and stuff. Okay, cool.
Don't blow
We'll
it up.
talk about
Just yeah,
it
we'll talk about it
off.
offside. How did you feel about the Fable little comedic teaser trailer that they gave us?
I was happy that they did it the first. That was the first game they announced. So
Mm-hmm.
they did the cinematic trailer. There was a little bit of gameplay in there, but it didn't really show anything crazy.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I'm hyped. I'm hyped for Fable. I like Fable, but they didn't show anything really for me to be like, oh my god, this is the best
Yeah.
thing. This game, we know it's coming out. Everybody was asking for it. You teased it. You got it out the way first. Okay, great. Come back with some gameplay and we could talk.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like, I think they just did this as a hype trailer, like, oh, it's coming, but like then there was
Yeah,
nothing else really. So we should have seen at least a little bit of gameplay, I think, to go
they
along
did.
with that.
They
No, but
showed some
like
gameplay, but it wasn't
enough though. I
anything.
don't think they showed enough to like determine anything. You know what I mean? It was very little,
Right.
like very, very little. And like,
How do you feel about? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I was about to say, and it wasn't really enough to like even determine the type of gameplay style it is. But whatever, we'll see
Right.
when we announce more. What were you saying?
I was gonna say, how do you feel about Cyberpunk Liberty expansion?
Well, I never played. I barely played Cyberpunk. Like when it
Oh,
came out. Like I played it for a little bit, but then I stopped. So I can't
okay.
even really say I'm super
Oh, you played
excited
during the
about it.
turmoil.
Yeah, I did. Well, I played when they like updated it and it quotes was better, but I just didn't get very far. So I can't really say that I am super excited just because I don't really see myself picking that game up again. I don't know. I just
Got it. I think the expansion has a new game director, and he's like adding a whole bunch of features, like doubling down on the whole experience. It's supposed to be. It sounds like a really chunky update. So
mhm.
before they start working on the sequel, because that's already planned. So
I hope that
yeah,
they've learned lessons before they start making the sequel. I hope they've learned all their lessons about
yeah.
about what it takes to make a decent game and they don't make the same mistakes.
We got Idris Elba playing a character in this
Wow,
expansion. It
look at
looks like
that.
he's gonna be a huge part of that. And
Hmm.
then of course we got Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves playing I forget the character's name, but he
How do you
was
feel about
also featured in the announcement. So it was cool to see him
yeah.
repping the game again.
How do you feel about real celebrities like having roles in video games now?
Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it like shows how far we've come, that you can actually get a 3D model of somebody that looks like them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We just got to that stage where we could actually do that and it feels real. So I
Yeah.
like it. I like it a
That's
lot.
true. That's true. You don't think it takes you out of the world a little bit when you
No,
no,
to
you don't think so?
play, if I could play as Idris Elba in a video game, take my $70. Turn Beast into a video game and let me punch a lion as Idris Elba in the face. Yes. While we're
Okay.
on that, I saw the trailer for the Meg 2, and we got what's this actor's name? I forget, but he kicks the shark in the nose. Anyway,
Oh
moving on.
God. Oh my God.
What's going on?
Okay. um
And then the scene where he's riding the wave with the katana coming at the shark. I'm like, what? I have to see this now, but this is gonna be the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
did you see the first one? Because like I don't
No, I didn't
okay, I
see
was
the
gonna say
first one. And I
I
don't
don't
care
wish
about the first one. I just now I'm excited to see this. Like, we're
no,
gonna fight
that's
the
a little
shark.
it's too ridiculous for me. I don't think I could do it.
Oh,
Um Avowed looks pretty cool. This Avowed
yes.
game. Um so I think I'll play this when it comes out once I can
Yeah.
get Game Pass to run on my Steam Deck.
It's like it reminds me of Elder Rings, but it's like flat faster and like flashier, and the spells
Hmm.
look more animated and the effects and stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna play it. My style game.
Yeah, this is my type of game. These are the types of games that I like, so I will play this when it's out. Um, we talked about Starfield. What else stood out to you?
Uh, there was a game called Path of Goddess, which is the game that I was most excited for.
Mm,
Um, that is like I'm not exclusive to the Xbox showcase because I'm getting confused on which games are we're at which showcase right now. Sorry, people. There was like 5 or 6 showcases that came out this week, and I tried. I tried. So Path of Goddess, I know is on the Xbox showcase, and it looks reminds me of like Demon Slayer. You
mm.
play as like a samurai, and like you're fighting demons, and like it's really cool graphics, and it just reminds me of Demon Slayer. So that's the trailer that stood out to me. Like, okay, we haven't seen this before. Super hyped for this. Yeah.
Nice.
What else?
Um,
Go ahead.
Outlaw. What about the Star Wars game from Ubisoft?
So
Star Wars
Star Wars,
Outlaws.
they announced Star Wars Outlaws at the Xbox showcase, and when they announced it, it was like, cool, okay, Star Wars Outlaw. I don't know what that is,
Yeah.
but then we got to look at it during the Ubisoft
Mm,
Forward game show, and it looks amazing.
yeah. It does look
It
cool.
reminds me of Jedi Survivor,
Mm,
except you're not a Jedi, and it just looks really exciting to be playing as like I didn't know I was going to be excited for anything but Jedi's, but like playing as her and just maneuvering through the dark underworld smuggling ring. You got this cool companion that could do stuff for you. Like the gameplay looked looked like it could be something fun.
So that's coming out in 2024. So that'll be another thing I add to my playlist. Another game that stood out to me was this Clockwork Revolution trailer. That looks really good.
Yes, that is another one.
Yeah. So I might add that to my playlist as well, and that's another day one Game Pass thing. I'm also interested in this Metaphor Re Fantasio. It's from the makers of Persona. That game looks interesting. So I want to play that also.
33 Immortals also looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 33 co-op like raiding dungeon game, so that looked pretty interesting.
Yeah. They're also doing, I think they're doing a reboot of Persona 3.
Yeah. Oh, it was cool how they're coming out with a flight simulator too that has like, instead of just flying the planes, you can do all types of different jobs that are out there. Like it showed a bunch of stuff from firefighting to rescuing to scaffolding. Like it showed so much stuff you could do in flight. Like it's really cool what they're doing with that physics engine.
That does sound cool.
I know Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 is a really anticipated game on Xbox. That's a game they like to show off the graphics and stuff, even though, yeah. I haven't finished the first one. I started it, but I didn't finish it. Yeah.
What else? Anything else stood out to you?
I mean, all the sequels, like a Dragon, Fallout 76, all this stuff looks great.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna play it, but there's nothing else that's like that I gotta. Dungeons of Hinterberg was one that looked interesting. It looked different, and that was one that looked like fun. But City Skies, like all these games are games that we know already, and they're just getting some new features that look really, really cool. Do not get me wrong, everything looks amazing. I didn't see anything that I was like, yeah, this game looks like it's gonna suck. But
there's this
nothing
one
that blew my mind.
There's this one game that has like a cool art style, Jusant, but it's really just a climbing game. So I'm like, I don't really know how much fun that'll be, but I mean, it looks really cool though.
Yeah, like, it looks interesting from the trailer. It could be something.
But I don't want to play a game that literally I mean, I guess it looks interesting. And you have that cute little thingy with you, that little blob pet that he has. Anyway, the art style looks really cool, but I just don't know about the actual gameplay. But it looks really nice. If it's on Game Pass, then maybe I'll just buy it and see. Not buy it. I'll just download it and see, since it's free-ish. And that's coming out in the fall. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And then real quick, we don't have to dive into the extended showcase. They just really showed like gameplay from some of the stuff that they had gameplay on. I think they announced the Lies of P demo. If you want to try that out before it comes out, High on Life is getting a expansion, High on Knife. And yeah, they showed some Sensual Hellblade. They the first Descendant. I don't think they showed that at the Xbox showcase, but they featured that some gameplay from that. Mecha Mashup. Yeah, it's weird how they showed some games. Like there were some games in the showcase. In the extended showcase that weren't in the regular showcase. Overall, I think it was very confusing to keep track of all these game showcases. And yes, now we'll have stuff to talk about for the rest of the year, but like having it all drop on the same week was kind of overwhelming. And I kind of take back my take on the PlayStation money grab for their showcase. Maybe they were just trying to just get out the way because they seen all this coming. I don't know. This was really, really either condense everything into under one umbrella and make it organized and make it like, because we just saw the same game some places, and it was really, really confusing.
Yeah. Oh shoot! Does Final Fantasy come out this week? Oh man, 16.
So I could not tell you.
I gotta buy that.
And I gotta mention Xbox with ID. At Xbox, you could for the indie game developers, they showed some games that were coming out for that. So that's good that community is still like pumping out good quality games. Like if you're a programmer, you got make an Xbox game. That's I think that's awesome.
Did anything stand out to you about anything like from Capcom?
Capcom, they showed so they showed this Mega Man game that I thought was going to be a console game, but it turned out to be a mobile like gacha game. So I downloaded it, and I just recently stopped playing Street Fighter Duel. I finally got worn out from it, and I can't jump back into another gacha game right now. So that might have to sit on the back burner. But anybody who's into gacha games, yep, now we got Mega Man. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it looks cool. Capcom, they showed what's the game coming out? Primal. Oh my god, I'm trying to open the article.
Kudos to you for even like watching all of this stuff. There's so much.
I think I closed it by mistake, but there's this dinosaur game where you like play it's a looter shooter. You
Mm-hmm.
get like I think it's called Exo Primal, but it's coming out very soon, and they showed some gameplay from that. That looks exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Street Fighter 6 is out there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I got nothing off the top of my head right now. I had
Yeah.
a couple things for it, but
It's too much. I understand if you
we'll deep dive later. But
yeah.
we can jump into the Ubisoft Forward showcase real quick. So I said they showed Star Wars Outlaw gameplay. That was really cool. They showed a bunch of Assassin's Creed stuff. With the end, they showed the new Mirage gameplay that's coming out. Looks like it's really going back to the roots of the first style, the style of the first game. They showed Avatar Frontiers. Everybody knows I'm not an Avatar fan, but if you are an Avatar fan, you should enjoy. This game looks amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you're not an Avatar fan, it looks like a really fun game. It's like open world, like you're exploring the Avatar world. You can fly, you can ride the horse. Like it graphically, it looks amazing. You know,
That does look
Avatar
fun.
just looks beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
and it looked like a really potential to be a really fun game. Like you could have all the Avatar abilities, and then with the story, this Avatar person was trained by humans, so they have the ability to use guns and the regular Avatar arsenal. So that should be cool. They showed Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, more gameplay on that. I already talked about it. I'm super hyped for that. And then they showed this it was supposed to be an anime that's coming out, but I think they no, it is an anime that's coming out. Captain, it's based on like Ubisoft uh games and lore. So they have like Assassin's Creed type characters in there. So they've taken just elements from Ubisoft and threw it into the anime. It's called Captain Laserhawk, a Blood Dragon remix. It
Okay.
looks it looks it looks exciting. The guy who was talking about it, the director, he was super pumped for it, so he got me interested into that. And then we got the Division. They got some new news. And there was Skull and Bones, The Crew 2. Like, yeah, it was a lot. We don't have time to go through all of it, but yeah, I like the Ubisoft presentation.
When is Skull and Bone coming out?
You asked me.
That's
You asked me.
Did
August.
it say?
I think it gets a closed beta in August.
Wait, hold on. Let me just figure out if that's the right game that I'm talking about.
Or are you talking about Sea of Thieves?
No. Skull and Bone. Skull and Bone. I think that's the one I've been waiting to come out for a while, and it keeps getting delayed. Is it actually coming out now?
There's a closed beta from August 25th to the 28th. And then I can't find a release date right now, but I'm expecting before the holiday season.
This is it. Yeah, it kept getting pushed back, and I really like this game. Looks really interesting to me, but I'm like, when is it actually like? I'm tired of all these delays, so we'll see.
Yeah, I can't find
a
release date yet, but the closed beta end of August. If you try and sneak into that and get a taste of it.
Okay.
What else we got?
For the Steam players, Steam Deck players, Steam players on your PC, Steam Next Fest is starting. Well, we're recording this on a Sunday, so it starts tomorrow, Monday, and runs through the 26th of June. And you're going to be able to download and try out hundreds of demos for games during this Steam Fest and see which games Steam Fest, sorry, and see which games you want to buy. Are the games on sale though? If you want to buy them, is the question. I don't think
I would assume so.
Well, it doesn't say anything in here about them being on sale, but maybe we'll see. And they do this.
Let us know.
They do this 3 times a year, so there's this one, and then the next one will be October 9th through the 16th. and then there'll be another one later in the year before the year closes. So you have that to look forward to. And then there's a PC.
Just I was gonna say just honorable mention because we don't have to deep dive into these, or we'll do it next week. But I did watch 3 quarters of the PC gaming show. They also had the Intel Future Games show, and there was also the Devolver Digital Devolver show. So those are 3 other shows that happened, and yeah, we don't have time to jump into them right now because I didn't watch those in their entirety.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. So
but it's something we can get into next week. But yeah, it was sensory overload of video game news this week.
oh yeah, big time.
But in addition to video game showcases, Netflix also had a showcase as well to talk about some of their upcoming stuff. And just two of the notable things that came out of there. We got a release date for the live action One Piece show and first teaser. Did you see the teaser, Jaja?
I heard it came out. I didn't get a chance to see it though.
Yeah. It actually visually it looks really good.
Okay.
But you know how I will watch this live action One Piece, but I won't have anything to compare it to because I have not watched the animated anime One Piece. I've seen 3 episodes and that's it. So, but I'll watch this and then you guys will just have to tell me if it's bad or if it's good. But it looks good for a live action anime. It looks really good. And it'll be coming to Netflix on August 31st. So right around the corner for One Piece.
That is right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Avatar, Netflix's Avatar,
The Last Airbender.
The last Airbender, sorry.
With,
Yes. So that we got a first look for that as well. And that is coming, actually there's no set date for it, but it's coming out in 2024. And just as a reminder, the original creators of Avatar, The Last Airbender, they were working on the show, but then they walked away from it. So now we're on the fence. Now we're a little iffy about this show, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Not only this show, but we're getting new animated show. We're getting I think we're getting something else too. A prequel show. So yeah, there's a lot of Avatar stuff we're gonna get hit with in 2024. Hopefully it's good. I'm here for it.
Yeah. Maybe that's why they walked away from it though, because they
didn't want to make the Avatar universe like every show.
Well, because they walked away from the Netflix project, so maybe it wasn't going the way that they wanted it to go, and then they were like, "Well, we have other stuff we're working on, so peace out." I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I was watching a video yesterday. It's a lot of stuff coming out at the same time for Avatar. Like it should be jam packed.
Should be interesting. All right. So, Jaja, I know you recently saw Spider-Verse again, Across the Spider-Verse. I don't know if you want to give your extended thoughts on that first before we jump into a light review of The Flash. I don't want to talk about The Flash too much while James is not here, but I do want to talk about it because there are things to talk about. But let's talk about Spider-Verse first.
Okay, so we can deep dive into Spider-Verse, right? Do you want to do a light Flash review first, or go through my?
Let's talk about.
What do you want?
Let's talk about Spider-Verse first.
Okay, all right. So, Spider-Verse is a great movie. I'm not taking anything away from it, but there are certain things in the movie that I have a question about that could either be fixed in the next movie or
these are things you didn't notice the first time you watched it?
These are things that I noticed that I forgot to mention when we were talking about that I was just going through my little Easter eggs and stuff and be like, oh yeah, I remember thinking that, and I'm gonna expand on it. Okay. So these canon events, right? So I don't think Miguel O'Hara, the 2099 Spider-Man, was telling the truth about like what keeps the Spider-Verse intact. Because when he was saying that the canon events have to happen, and if you change it, you're gonna destroy the universe, right? And then he used himself as an example, like, oh, when a variant of me died, and I went to go replace him just to live out life with my family, that disrupted the universe. So I'm like, what made that a canon event? Like, are you saying that you have to die in every universe you're in or something like that? Like, what was the canon event in that you're basing your whole thing on?
Okay.
So that's one thing. And then two, the Spider-Verse, when they say like if a variant goes into another, like the whole um Spider 42 going
Hmm.
into another universe, that alone should have caused some type of disruption in Miles's universe or the original universe. Both
Yeah.
universes are still there. Like
Yeah.
the canon event in the universe where the spider's missing didn't happen. So why
Right.
is that universe still there?
Interesting. Okay. That's an interesting
And
plot
then
hole.
like when the spot went to Manhattan and caused all that destruction and literally like started a canon event. That event wouldn't have happened if Spot wasn't there.
There
So
are
you're telling me,
loopholes, and I noticed in these multiverse movies there are loopholes in all of the rules. I'll bring it up. I was gonna bring this up when we talk about the Flash lightly too. Like all these rules that they make for their multiverse, like there are things that don't make sense in it that they, they're hoping nobody notices, but they're
right?
there. The plot holes of the
So you,
multiverse rules are there for sure.
yeah, I'm just pointing them out. It was interesting. It's like the Spot can cause a canon event, but Miles can't stop that, and it cancel each other out. And then why can't the canon event like happen later? Like let's say
Mhm.
Miles saved Homeboy's dad. What's stopping? Like, because there has to be somebody in control of these events. Like, if there's these canon events that have to happen to me, I feel like there has to be somebody like controlling that, or else it's not really the multiverse to me. Like in the multiverse, anything can happen. Like, like
It's
I
just
remember
Well, I don't know
watching.
about in this universe, but in the MCU, it's the timekeepers, supposedly. But I don't know about like in this Sony Spider-Man universe who those
Right,
people
but
would
there's
be.
also like a world without the timekeepers. You know, the
Mm,
timekeepers were here for a certain amount of time, but I'm sure there's parts of the MCU where there's no timekeepers.
mm, okay.
That makes sense?
Mm,
Or the time, you know what I mean? Like, so I just started thinking about like the butterfly effect. That's one of my favorite multiverse movies. I know
mm.
recently I haven't seen the Everything Everywhere Always at Once movie.
Everything. You haven't seen that movie? Oh, you should watch
No,
that.
I haven't, but everyone's saying that's the best multiverse movie right now. So
Yeah,
I'll get
yeah,
to it.
it's
But
good.
I just go back to the butterfly effect and how that like changed my life on how I thought about things. Like as a kid, I used to be like, oh, like if I just move right instead of left right now, that'll like create a whole different timeline. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah,
And yeah, it's an interesting concept. So
multiverse theory is interesting. It's full of holes that don't make sense. But that's a good observation. Did you have
but
anything
hopefully
else?
we just find out Miguel O'Hara was just lying.
Hopefully.
Maybe he's full of crap and the multiverse is the multiverse.
Yeah, maybe he's just pulling the strings because he wants a certain outcome to happen, and it's just him being selfish. We'll
Or
see.
maybe he's controlled by Kang.
No, no.
Oh man.
um, um. Did you have any
Yeah,
other
that's it.
observations from seeing? Oh, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. I
Okay.
just wanted to poke some holes in the movie. Still
Yeah,
love the movie. I think it's still amazing.
yeah. I want to poke a lot of holes in the Flash. Okay, so here's what I want to do, Jaja. I want to talk about the Flash, but then I want to have an episode. Maybe we'll do it next week. I don't know, where we take these recent multiverse movies, Spider-Man, Across the Spider-Verse, I mean, No Way Home, and this movie, and we can talk about not really Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness because I feel like that doesn't count, but we'll take these movies that focus heavily on the multiverse and we'll debate which one is the best.
We should. That's a
Yeah,
good one.
I want to do that. So maybe we'll do it next week or the week after. We'll see what happens. But yes, The Flash premiered this week. It came out on Thursday. Highly anticipated movie. Highly hyped movie. This movie was very, very, very hyped, with multiple people saying that it was the best thing they've ever seen. Steven Spielberg said
Multiple
that.
people said that.
Who else said? Yeah, like a lot of like celebrities and famous people have said it's the best thing they've ever seen. James Gunn himself, I don't know if this was the money strings pulling him to say this. He said it was the best. He said it was the best superhero movie you've ever seen, or anything like that, or something like that. And yeah, Steven Spielberg, other people. It was very, very. The hype train was high for this movie. Um, and they made it seem like they couldn't shelve this movie because it was so fantastic that they could not possibly bear to shelve it. Anyway, now it's here. So the masses get to see for themselves what this movie was all about. Jaja, what were your initial thoughts?
Can I hear from you first?
Okay, so I think I need to see it again. Upon my first watch, I liked the movie. I don't think it was spectacular, but do I think it was one of DC's better movies in terms of plot? Yes. Visually, maybe we'll get into that. I'll get into the CGI portion of it later. But I liked the movie. I thought it was funny at parts. I thought that there were parts that were like too overbearing. But overall, as a movie, I did not hate it. But I do think that it was highly overhyped and it didn't live up to the hype that was out there for it. That's my high level overview. Let me hear your overview and then we'll get more into things specifically.
So I agree with you on some points, but I'm gonna take it a step further.
Okay.
This movie was trash. This movie was complete garbage. I don't know what's up with these DC movies and their first and second act being like really slow and boring and nothing happening, and then they want to just have an amazing third act. The third act of the movie was cool. That's when I was like, all right, finally, I'm here for the
Well,
excitement.
you know what's interesting? I'm hearing a lot of people say that they enjoyed the first and the second act, but then they hated the
Oh
third
my
act of the
God, there
movie.
was so much talking and explaining the multiverse and going through the same stuff that we already know and no, that movie's wrong. Let's show you how we're doing it here. It's like it was really I was really exhausted by it.
Okay, so you were
And
exhausted
then
by all
I'm
the buildup. I enjoyed the
and
buildup.
then I was trying to take Ursa Miller's background stuff and put it to the side because you know how I feel about this type of stuff. Like I try to separate the talent from
Mm-hmm.
the art in certain scenarios. So I'm just giving it a shot to see if I can do that, but I for some reason I couldn't do that. Like I kept the scene with the little girls, the gold flash, I love you. I was
Mm-hmm.
kind of cringe. He's saving babies. That was super cringe for me. Like it was he's talking about how he's a virgin and all these sex like jokes. I'm like, oh, this
Yeah.
is super duper cringe right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can see I see what you mean, and I kind of agree with you. Yeah, some of the jokes they didn't land with me because yes, it was very hard to separate
Mm.
um the art from the artist in those scenarios. I enjoyed the first half of the movie. I thought that I think that the multiverse needed to be re-explained because the way that they were approaching the multiverse rules were different from what we had seen in any multiverse movie that we've had so far. Like Marvel has certain rules for their multiverse that they were not following at all for this multiverse. So I remember I leaned over to talk to my boyfriend. I was like, oh, like the way that they're doing it in this movie, the multiverse is different because like they were following more like a cause and effect, like closed loop type of thing where like, oh, like if I do this in the past, it's going to affect my future self. Like this is more of like a standard time travel-ish multiversal rules that they were following. And then when Michael Keaton was explaining it, I was like, oh, it is very different the way that they're like all this cross spaghetti theory that they were doing. It was very different. So I was just like, oh, I think it needed the explanation because the way that they were doing it was very different from
It
what we've
needed
seen.
the explanation, but the explanation is stupid. The explanation doesn't really make sense to me.
I didn't,
Okay,
yeah.
you go into the past and if you don't change anything, you can come back to the future and everything's gonna be okay. That's dumb because the fact that you just taking up mass in that space and that time changes it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you don't do hold your breath and come back to the future. You just standing there and taking up space and time. That should change stuff. And then
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna talk about oh, since you change stuff, you come back to the future and like the whole past of everything has changed like dramatically
Yeah.
without you being there to and then you come back to two of yourself. How is there two of you? Like I don't and then if there's gonna be two of you in this scene, then every time he jumps, there should be another. He should be creating a new version of himself. Like you can't just jump back to the future and okay, now I'm back to being me. No, your future version should be there. It
That's a
was
good
so
point.
confusing.
That's a good point. It was confusing. I'm not saying that I like the explanation that they gave. I just think that they were trying to do something different, so it wasn't the same exact thing as Marvel, but I don't really know if it worked the way that they wanted it to
It was dumb.
work. Yeah. I was like, oh, this is different, but I still don't know if I get what they're trying to
And then
say.
even if okay, so like he was saying, oh, remember Batman? You were saying two timelines they could be drawn to each other like magnets, right? So let's say he's saying he jumped back to the past and whatever he's destined to jump back to the future in his timeline because those just spaghetti lines are going to cross again.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's hard to make
Also,
sense
I
out of
don't
this
understand
stuff.
how Batman even knows all this stuff. I'm like, you're a regular.
That was like,
I'm like, you're a regular.
you just jumped to the universe where Batman knows everything about time travel. I hate this movie. Oh my god. I don't hate it. I mean, that's a strong word. But yo, I was sitting there like, I cannot believe this is what they got me all hyped for. I'm so mad at DC. Why do they do this? It would have been
Yeah.
better off if you just don't hype it and let me go experience it. Now I'm expecting something amazing.
Yeah, the hype they built up for it was not needed. But I guess they had to build up this hype for it because they couldn't do the normal press runs and promoting that they would normally do for a movie because of all the controversy with Ezra Miller. So it's like, I don't know. I guess this was their way of promoting it by like overhyping it because
And then
that's all they could do.
you know what else was cringe? The mental health jokes that he was making about like, oh, the Justice League doesn't help with mental. I'm sorry if I'm spoiling if anything for people.
Well. We should have put a spoiler alert in the beginning, but we did say we are going to start talking about the Flash. So if you haven't seen it, then just skip forward.
Yeah, I didn't mean to go this deep, but like he was making mental health jokes that were just like, yo, bro, you're going through mental health stuff in real life. Like I don't feel comfortable like right now.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
what the heck is going on?
It was hard. It was hard. But yes.
The cameos were really cool. I thought every single cameo was dope. I wish we had more cameos.
Whoa. Which cameos specifically? Do you mean like
Woman?
Wonder Woman? Okay, yes. Cool.
I'm not saying it was an incredible part of the story. I just
no.
It was cool
I just want to
showed up.
You're talking about the live cameos, right? Not the CGI recreated Superman cameos at the end, because that's a whole section that I want to get to.
I thought that was cool.
I didn't think it was cool. I thought it was bad. I thought it was bad.
Take it away.
Okay. Well, first of all, let's start. How did you feel about the CGI in the movie? Did you like it or did you think it was terrible?
I thought his running motion was dumb. I hate the whole arms. So let me just preface this with saying I haven't seen the Justice League movies. I haven't seen Superman versus Batman. So I think I'm missing some of the character development.
Wait, you haven't seen any of these movies?
No. So I did not like his whole running motion. I thought when his younger self got the Flash, when he got the powers and he first started running and he didn't do all that extra stuff, he was just running normal. I was like, okay, yeah, he's running normal. Why do we have to do the whole look like you're an Olympian setting up the whole pose? Oh my god, it annoyed me a little bit that he had to like wind up the pose, or maybe that's just us seeing it in slow motion, and maybe every Flash just does that except really fast. But the whole like charge up thing, like it's like okay, bro, just go.
But what about like when he's running through?
When like you see through the multiverse,
and you see all the images and everything like that. That's more the part I was talking about.
I thought it was a cool visual for what was happening.
Okay.
I didn't like it
because a lot of people didn't like it because a lot of people thought it looked overly fake. You know what I mean? Which I agree too. I agree too.
It is.
Yeah, but that's what the director said. So the director said, we are in the perspective of the Flash. Everything is distorted in terms of light and texture. We enter this water world, which is basically being in Barry's point of view. It was part of the design, so it looks a little weird. That was intended. So to me,
whole blurriness and stuff, like I expected that. Yeah.
Well, yeah. And I believe that because like it was so bad in a way that it had to be purposely done that way. Because otherwise, if it wasn't, then I feel like it wouldn't look that way. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it was just like, I believe that it was intentional because it was just so weird looking. I'm like, there's no way that they did this by accident. You know what I mean?
Right. No, and it made perfect, maybe not perfect sense to me, but it made sense the visual that they were trying to go with how their explanation of the multiverse worked. Like in my mind, like his timeline was shattering, and now he's seeing all these different versions of the timeline, all trying to be merged as one. So it's going to be distorted. It's not going
Yeah.
to be clear. We shouldn't be able to tell what's happening in each picture. Like it
Yeah.
should be messed up. I didn't mind it.
Yeah. To
But
me,
when the guy, oh, I can't spoil the movie, but go ahead, go ahead.
no, go ahead. I mean, I feel like we're already spoiling the movie. We might as well just turn this into a spoiler heavy, the Flash review, and then we'll just extend on it more when James is back. What were you gonna say? Just say it.
When he got knocked out of the timeline the first time, I thought that whoever that was, the reveal of that was gonna be super important, and it was, and it made sense. It made
Yeah.
sense, like the
It did make
reveal
sense.
and everything.
What
Yeah.
bothered me was that when he first got knocked out of the timeline, there was no, it took too long for him to be even concerned about who knocked him out of the timeline. Like he was like it didn't get brought, like the fact that he got knocked out of the timeline didn't get addressed until like 45 minutes later, where like he like after he like got his powers back and he woke up like from a nightmare where he saw his face again. I'm like, why isn't he concerned about who knocked him out of the timeline? Like there was no
Sure.
concern about it whatsoever. It was bothering me.
Yes.
A lot.
And there's one other thing that bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
Who, like, okay, we're at the end of the movie. We got the big reveal on, you know, part of the story with his mom, but we don't really find out who's the one
Yeah.
who did it. And I'm
Like,
left to assume that it was him. I know it could be
so
in the Reverse Flash in the comics, but like
yeah, I
I
was
feel
gonna
like in this
say,
universe, it might be him who does it.
or it might just be a robber who, because I don't think that. So the reason that I think that they didn't expand on it is because I don't think that they're planning on doing anything. Well, this whole reboot, I don't think they're planning on doing anything else with the Flash. So I feel like maybe they thought it wasn't important for them to expand on who actually killed his mother. You know what I mean? So I think they just left it very vague.
Gotcha.
That was my thought about it. But I thought, but continuing on my thing with the CGI of all the different, when all the different universes were coming together. I don't know. I thought it was weird. I thought
You
it was
thought it
weird.
was weird?
Yeah, I thought it was weird, especially when we saw Christopher Reeve Superman there, because he looked scary. He looked literally like a dead man that they resurrected. Like that's how bad
What?
the CGI looked to me. Yes. Watch it
Oh
again and
my
look at how
god.
his face looks. He looked like a zombie.
Don't get me wrong. He looked fake as heck. You can tell it was like a
Yes.
hologram projection, but I wasn't mad at it. I wasn't. I like it was paying tribute. It was canonizing all the
I
DC
feel
stuff.
like if it was paying tribute, they did a really bad job paying tribute to
Well,
Christopher
not
Reeve.
not paying tribute. I don't think that
But
was a
I
tribute,
don't
but
know.
maybe just canon, making everything canon that happened in DC everywhere,
I guess, but
similar to
but
what Marvel did.
they made him look really scary, like a zombie. He looked really like ghoulish. I
I
didn't
think it would
appreciate.
be weirder if he was like in motion doing something than just standing there. I think it was fine how they did it. Like it was like, oh, let's. I liked it. I didn't
I
mind
was watching the new Rockstar's breakdown of this, and Eric brought up a good point. He was saying that he would have preferred them just take actual footage from his Superman movie to use at that section instead of just doing like this complete CGI recreation where they're like puppeteering him to like do certain things. I'm like, I agree with that. They should have just used footage from his actual movies. I think that would have been better.
I don't necessarily agree with that, but
Mm.
okay.
Why?
I mean, I wouldn't have minded, but I
Uh-huh.
don't mind how they did it now. I don't think it looked weird.
He just looks scary.
I
I
think
feel
it
like
was
you
fine.
look at
I
a
think it
picture.
would look weirder to get some old footage and that's in totally different. You know, the way they were filming back then, it's gonna look different from the style of the movie.
Yeah, but that's when it was happening. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just felt like okay, well they should have done a better job with the way that they rendered him then, because his face looked really scary. So I didn't really like that. I don't know. He looked really not great. So I feel like it wasn't it wasn't great. It wasn't great.
And then I thought it was cool that when they showed the other Flash that appeared in the Flash show, I think, and he
Mm.
had like the, you know,
Yeah. But
the hat.
Yeah, but where was Gustin Grant though? Why didn't they put him in there? So that Grant Gustin, sorry. Why didn't they put him in there? I just feel like they use a lot of
That's messed
actors.
up. It
Huh?
was messed up that
It
they didn't
was.
put that Flash in this movie. That's
Right.
messed up.
Right. Exactly. So I was confused about that, especially since we saw Henry Cavill in there. I just feel like that was a missed opportunity. Maybe he
Wait,
didn't want
wait. We got a Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage. Yeah, that was cool.
That was epic.
Yes, that was
That
cool.
was so dope. I don't care. Nicolas Cage is the man. I don't know why every time I see him, I get hyped. He's just the man. He's been on a streak right now. Like from the showcase that the game showcase that he was at to the appearing in this. Like, and then I hear he's
Was he
trying to do
actually
more video game stuff.
was he actually there to film that, or was that another CGI creation? That was
I
another
don't
CGI. That was
I don't
another CGI
care.
creation.
I think it
Okay.
was a mix, but I think it looked fine.
Yeah. No, that was cool, especially because for those that don't know, there was supposed to be a Tim Burton Superman movie that Nicolas Cage was supposed to star in, and it just never happened. So this was a way of kind of like bringing that to reality, like what could have been, and it was that was a cool inclusion. Yes, but
Mm-hmm.
that was the one cool part of that part.
All the cameos were cool for me. All the universe that they tried to show, I liked it all. I liked it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm on the fence.
I don't know how them trying to fix their timeline would affect all these other multiverses, but yeah, it was cool. Like the explanation doesn't matter, but I like them just. I guess that's what the reset is. All these universes technically collided and whatever.
Yeah.
So now they can do whatever they want from here. Like
That's what always happens though in these multiverse movies. In Spider-Man, I'm not even gonna do comparisons. I'm gonna save that for another episode. But yeah,
I,
I kind of
I
like
don't.
that. Like there was really no winning to this movie. Like it ended with him realizing that he can't change anything. So you know, I kind of
Well,
like that
with
he
all
like
his changes, there's consequences.
yeah. But like even like when he tried to, when they kept going back and he was trying to save Batman and Supergirl, like they couldn't do it because you can, it's a moment in time that you can't erase. So
That doesn't make sense to me. Uh, the, the the time force physics does not make sense. If he's gonna keep going back to that same spot where they touched feet, right?
mhm.
So they jumped both out at that time the first time. So technically, in that timeline, now we should have four flashes, right?
That's what
Running
I
around
thought.
that
That's what I said
battlefield.
too. I was
And
like, where?
now Homeboy's going back a million times. So now there should
Yeah,
be at least more of him. There
that's
should
what
be
I
a
thought. That's what
million
I
of
thought too.
him.
That's
So
what I
how are they not gonna stop it? How can
yeah.
you not stop it?
I said that to my boyfriend too. I
Oh,
was like, shouldn't there be two more? Like the first time they went back, I'm like, where are the other two flashes that were already here? That's why I didn't get. Yeah, I didn't get that either. That was a
totally broke the story for me. I was like, what the heck is this BS?
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
I'm gonna take you for fiction right now and try to digest it, but the logic ain't there, buddy.
Yeah. No, I agree
And
with
then
that.
they made a whole point about, oh, you can't move people. If you move people, then look, I'm gonna throw up for this amount of time. Bro, you just got done catching moving babies out the sky. Like, yeah, you didn't touch them with your hands, but you moved them in that. Oh, it didn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense. It did
Jaja
not make any sense.
Jaja hated this movie. Hated it.
But the story reminded me like when the reveal happens of who knocked them out of the timeline and they were
Mm.
all there. Like I was like, oh, this is a Kang. This is how the Kang story goes. Like
Eh,
it was a little similar to that. I like that
mm.
because we might
Um,
not be getting our Kang story.
yeah. We'll see.
But if we
Um,
got this movie, I don't care. Disney, you better just let Jonathan Majors do his movie and let him face his legal charges. If he gets locked up before the movie finishes, then replace him. But I don't know how to feel about it because especially with this movie coming out, it's like I have mixed feelings about this whole thing.
what'd you think about Supergirl? I liked her. I thought she was good.
She was the best part of the movie,
Okay.
hands
I think I
down.
can agree with that. The
I
Younger
want her
Barry,
to have
Younger
her
Barry
own thing.
was yes, she should have her own thing. She should. They should bring her back. because I liked her a lot. Younger Barry was super annoying and obnoxious, and it was just too much. It was too much. I was like, okay, it was too much.
Shannon. I rather that Barry than the first Barry that we got. The awkward, I can't talk to nobody. I'm so frail. Batman, I need you to come help me. Superman, where are you? Hey, I'm so
Oh no,
traumatized from my mom
no,
dying. Oh my god, I got all this trauma. I'm such a weird person. And then that
Jaja,
one was a little bit. That's the
no.
Flash that I'm used to. The comedic, like confident, flashy, really knucklehead, like really. Yeah,
No,
I like that version of the Flash better than the first one. I'm sorry.
no,
In the beginning of the
no.
movie, I was like, "Ugh, get this guy out of here! I know I can't take this for the whole movie." Ugh, he's like a nerd robot. Like, I
But I
can't
feel
do
like,
anything.
he got better. I feel like he got better like throughout the movie as he's trying to
He
mentor this
did
younger
a
version. Yeah,
hundred percent.
yeah.
I agree with you. His
Mhm.
character development in that movie was great, but the first version of him was super. For about the first 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I was like, I cannot take this. It's
It was
like
definitely
scratching a
it was
chalkboard.
yeah, his this take on the Flash is definitely a different version than the versions that we've seen. Like the version from the CW show, the version from like the animated movies, like the personality, like it was an interesting choice for them to go with this kind of personality for this Flash in like this section of DC.
Right.
Yeah.
And I get it. I
So,
get it. Because like we've had versions of the Flash that are super smart, like physics wise, and then we
mhm.
have dumb comedic, jokey flashes. So I got the contrast in behavior, but I would have much rather the comedic version the whole way through than the super awkward, nerdy version.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so you haven't seen a lot of the DC movies, so I can't even really ask you like in comparison to other, because in comparison to other DC films, I thought this was like a better, like one of DC's better projects than the other things that we've gotten from DC over the years. So I will give it that, but that's not saying much. So
Yeah.
not saying much about DC as a whole, but I think it's
I,
definitely
I
like,
can't have a take on that. I would have to go back and watch. And even if I went back and watched, I think my take would be a little bit biased, recency bias, maybe.
yeah. I think this is one of DC's better projects, but I don't know. We'll see. I really hope that James Gunn being involved in DC now will like this universe needs to be rebooted for the better. But this movie was so overhyped. It was so overhyped, and I feel like it didn't live up to the hype at all. And the box office would also agree because it is underperforming from their projected numbers right now. So they were projecting The Flash to bring in 70 to 75 million in its opening weekend. Right now, it brought in about 24.5 million on its first day at the box office, including Thursday night previews. So Thursday and Friday, only $24 million. So their projections have adjusted, and it's going to be around that they're predicting that it's going to fall around $60 million for this weekend. So we'll see how it does in its entire run. But not doing as well as they thought it was going to do in the opening.
I do have to mention one of the funniest parts of the movie, hands down, was when Homeboy lost his powers and he tried to run
Oh yeah,
fast and
yeah,
then couldn't run fast.
yeah.
I cried. I cried to that part. That was hilarious.
Yeah, there
And I
were
think
funny.
that
There
was
were parts of
them
the movie
making
that were really
fun of
funny.
the run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there were parts of the movie that I thought were funny. I laughed a lot of times in the
Not
movie.
many. I might have laughed twice in that whole
Not
movie,
many.
and that was one of them.
But I agree with you. All the real live cameos were really good. Well, I don't even think you can consider Michael Keaton didn't even have a cameo. He had a role in that movie, but I thought he was really good. In this movie, reprising
Yeah, I would
Batman.
say Ben Affleck was more of a cameo than Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Like
I'm
we ain't
not.
never seen both of them either ever again.
Ben Affleck was a good Batman. I like him. It's kind of sad that we'll never see him as Batman again. But yeah.
Mhm.
So that's the Flash. We're in a multiversal kind of era here. I'm very excited. I really want to dive into the pros and cons of each big multiversal movie that we've had in the last 2 years. So I really want to compare Spider-Man, No Way Home, and Across the Spider-Verse and these movies and this movie to kind of pick apart what we liked, what didn't work, and what works, and like who has the better multiversal theory. I feel like it's going to be an interesting conversation. So I
Are
definitely.
we're gonna do recent movies and or not like all time movies?
Well, what other movies really pick
Because
on the
I really
multiversal?
want to go back and watch the Butterfly Effect again because I feel like that one was like one of the best multiverse movies.
I
or
just want to
alternate
kind of do
timeline
it.
movies.
I mean, you can compare
You
it to
want
older stuff too, but I was mainly thinking like since we're kind
superhero
of
stuff.
like in a multiversal era of all superhero stuff right now, I kind of want to compare it in that sense. But if you want to bring in older stuff, then you can 100% do that too, like as a
Okay.
comparison.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Sounds
we're
good.
gonna do that. Yeah, maybe we can find a guest to come in and join in on this conversation. We'll see. But yeah, so what do you rate The Flash? Scale of 1 to 10. What is your rating?
it's it's the best it's getting is like a 5 for me. Like it might be
I
lower, but
No, I think I agree. I think a 5 or a 6 is what I would give it. Because I don't think it was trash like you thought, but I don't think it wasn't trash and it wasn't amazing. It was definitely was just mid in the middle.
I cannot give it higher than a 5. I can't. Definitely like a 4. I'll give it a 4. Solid 4.5. Like, oh my god, I was so mad. Like the first 2 quarters of the movie. I was upset. I was thinking about leaving the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I don't think it was that bad, Jaja. I don't think it was worth getting up to leave, I don't know.
Once Superwoman showed up, it was on and popping, but he was so annoying. I'm telling you, it was like scratching a chalkboard, his acting as the nerd one. It was like, oh, stop it.
Also, sorry, we've been calling him his. Ezra goes by they, them. So we'll just they are acting through right. They're acting. I don't know. I didn't mind it as much as you. Like he was awkward. Like they were awkward and slightly annoying, but I don't think it was that bad. Like, and it definitely got better.
I guess
But I
it
don't
was
think it was that
purposely done. Like it was supposed to be very awkward, but I didn't enjoy it. That's all.
bad. Wow, Jaja. I feel like your opinion is like one extreme or the other. You either really love something or you really hate it. I don't feel like you've ever been in between.
Listen, that's me. I can't be nothing but me.
All right. Anything else before we wrap up?
Nope, that's all I got.
All right. Well, everyone, it was a pleasure talking about The Flash with you all and everything else that we talked about. As always, you can like us on Facebook. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Blerdsnerds. You can send us an email, blerdsnerds@gmail.com. If you are a POC creator in the nerd space and you're looking to come on and talk about your work, please email us at blerdsnerds@gmail.com. And if you have any topics that you want to see us talk about, please join us. Please email us at blerdsnerds@gmail.com. I would also like to see some emails on those 3 movies I mentioned, Across the Spider-Verse, The Flash, and No Way Home, what you think the best movie was and who did multiversal theory the best.
You got to throw Avengers in there.
Yes, and Avengers Endgame. Yes. Who do you think did multiversal theory the best? And who who do you think did it the best? And why? Send us an email and we'll read some of your emails out loud on the podcast when we do this episode, either next week or the week after. So yes, let us know. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe to.
And was Goku a bad dad or a good dad?
Okay.
Respond.
Yes.
We need some answers on that too.
And yes, let us know if you think Goku is a good father. But yes, and then don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and rate, review, and subscribe on your podcast listening app of choice. As always, I'm Shannon.
I'm Jaja.
Thanks for listening, guys. Bye.
Peace.